agree that we're really hitting unprecedented territory with what's happening, whether it's the Norway spiral or just kind of the interest in the amount of people that are coming into because a lot of this, again, a lot of us have been doing this for a long time, kind of behind the scenes or a little more anonymous. And I'm really feeling a big opening for those of us that I call are a part of the galactic community, which means there are some of us on this planet with a very specific role, and that role is to usher in the next level of galactic consciousness, which a key component of that is understanding that there's way more than just human beings, humanoids in 3D existing within our universe.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I think it's magnifying exponentially. It's just jumping. We're going through such a quantum leap in evolution and in consciousness right now. And the people that have been suppressing this for so long are just getting hammered energetically, and their grid and their program is just being torn apart, and a new grid is taking its place. So to me, it's like I don't know exactly how this is going to unfold. I don't know what choices people are going to make, but I know resistance is futile, and we are going to the next frequency, and we are going to take this leap in consciousness and energy, and we can do it gracefully, or we can do it with a lot of pain and suffering. Depends on which process we want to take.
Exactly. That's one thing I always sort of emphasize as well. You're either going to participate with this, and you're not, but you're still going to be participating from a resistance point. I mean, there really is, it makes your life so much easier if you understand the task at hand is to work in cooperation and harmony with these forces of transformation. If you understand to do that, which is basically surrender, then you'll have a really pleasant experience through this.
Oh, I
but
agree
if you're
100%.
extremely rigid and you've got, because there is, what has been an amazing observation at times is that in many human beings, sometimes the desire to be right rather than understand the truth is actually overrides the ability to process any new information. And that's always baffling to me. When you see that, but
that's
it's
an awesome
common
subject because we've been running into that redundantly here, and we've had people come to the ranch, and that is what they're up against: their need to be right and their need to have an enemy and project and blame everything outside of themselves. Just completely overrides the obvious, which is just thrown in their face again and again and again.
Yeah,
but they just don't get it, and I know right now is that you might say patience factor has I still love these people. I bless them on their way, but I seem to be my tolerance level for the nonsense and everything else. There's too many people that want to go forward, that want to wake up, that want to take this quantum leap, and those are the people I want to work with. And the people that want to keep continuing in that old program, that old game, I'm just setting some firm boundaries now, just saying, look, I've been here for you for over 30 years. I've been teaching you this, giving you this information. Now you've got to walk it. I'm not going to, babysit you through this whole process, again. And that's just what I'm seeing as a collective level. I think all of us are understanding, really what compassion is and what tough love is and how it can be used against us, if we don't set those boundaries and take care of ourselves.
I totally agree. I've noticed that too as well, where there has been a set of factors that have changed my interaction in certain ways, being, let's say, a steward of community or dealing with group consciousness, because both you and I are familiar to that. You know what I mean? We are holding a space for our group. And so that means you have that's a whole different thing than one-on-one. When you're dealing with a group field, you're dealing with a group entity, and that's a completely different energetic dynamic. And I've noticed that as well. There's been, it's like I call it triage training, and unfortunately sometimes there are casualties, and it's not fun at all. It's extremely important that we're able to hold the integrity of the truth within us from a place of compassion and, of course, harmlessness, but there can be no more martyrdom or vampirism or giving your blood or having somebody need something from you. This can't work anymore. It's got to be a mutual exchange that can grow the energy field. It can't be out of dysfunction or codependence or desperation. So I've noticed that too as well. It's like having to tell people, you're either going to get on the train or you're going to get out of the way. There is no other choice right now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There's no more fence sitting. You're either going to get with the program or you're going to step aside. I mean, because right now that's it. The responsibility to accountability to hold the integrity of the frequency and the intelligence of what that represents, because God is a technology and we are becoming the technology of that consciousness, and it's our responsibility, those of us that understand this and have been preparing our containers, our bodies and vessels to be that, to allow our bodies to be the purest vessel of that clear light channel of God consciousness as we can, because we really are at a crossroads right now of vibrational choice. And the more of us that can really hold that without having to explain it away or defend it or excuse it or whatever, it just is. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us that have been in the front lines in the galactic community, we've spent so much of our time excusing ourselves. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like having to get the credibility. Okay, here's the picture. I've got the picture. I've got the physical proof. Look at it. Okay, now what do you have to say about that? Oh, well, it's a smear on the lens.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's a Russian missile. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, it is kind of humorous.
Yeah.
I know you.
Yeah, the UFO community, I know a lot of people. Oh, and by the way, we are still open. We are snowed in right now, but we will be opening right back up in spring, like always, and we aren't closed down.
Are you really?
Like You're all the snowed? Rumors out there. What's that?
You're snowed in over there?
Yeah, we've been just dumped on right here, but
oh my gosh,
it's starting to melt off, but it's just too hard and it's too cold. We had -4 temperatures up here,
Oh my God, you're going to have a white Christmas then, aren't you?
Oh yeah. Well, basically, there's a lot of rumors going around that we closed, and people doing YouTube things saying, "How dare you close? It's not your ranch, it's the ET ranch," and all this other stuff.
Oh dear God.
On and on and on, going on for hours and hours about how unfair it is, and they didn't really have to make that video if they would have just called us up to realize we aren't closing down the ranch. But it all stemmed from me writing a letter saying I'm done with a lot of the UFO community. I'm not going to try to work through your venues anymore because you've just become so convoluted and corrupt. There's no space for higher consciousness and energy to come through anymore, and a positive message. So basically that's where that stemmed from. But we are going to continue to serve and bring through awesome speakers like you and others.
Well, thank you.
To the conferences, and we're going to keep this radio show going as well as some other radio shows to come. So we have a lot of irons in the fire, and it is going to keep going. Getting back on track here, the Pleiadians in my meditations, they're talking like biblical right now, which is quite interesting about the days to come, and they're saying that tyranny is coming to a close. And they talk about God is coming. It's a frequency. It's a force. It's accelerating all the karma. It's accelerating the action-reaction process. It's very interesting to hear what they talk about. And they talk about that, focus on love and healing, period. Release the past.
Yeah.
And the same message they give us again and again, release the past. Let it go. Let go of the old wounds and traumas and wrong conclusions from past experiences, and transcend all the cultural and religious boundaries and get beyond that into pure unconditional love. And it's funny when you talk to these beings, they sound just like, many of the great masters that walked the planet, to all the cultures and now the physicists are figuring it out. They're actually measuring these waves and these cycles and, the energy fluctuations. So it's on. I don't think there's any way of denying it, but people still do,
Yeah, and I suppose they will too.